The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks is a book written by Rebecca Skloot in 2010. The book is written about the life of Henrietta Lacks, a young woman, mother of five, and wife who is diagnosed with cancer and goes on to participate in cervical cancer studies with Johns Hopkins Hospital using her cancer cells, which are then discovered that her cells have remained alive all this time and have been being used to this day. The novel covers her early life, life while sick, and life after her death in 1951, along with her family's life after her passing. Question number 1. Why does Sadie think Henrietta hesitated before seeing a doctor? In the book, the character Sadie Sturdivant is Henrietta's cousin, whom she is close with. It's stated on page 47 that in those days, people didn't talk about things like cancer. But Sadie always figured Henrietta kept it a secret because she was afraid a doctor would take her womb and make her stop having children. I believe having a family and motherhood is very important to Henrietta, which is why she went through a whole pregnancy and birth while ignoring her condition until she gave herself an examination after spotting blood outside of her cycle, which is where she felt her first hard lump. Question number 7. In other words, explain the paradox benevolent deception. In order to give my own opinion and definition, I first have to break down the meanings of both words used in this paradox. Benevolent means well-meaning and kindly, and most of us know that deception means a lie. In this book, benevolent deception is when someone, specifically a doctor, does not tell the whole truth in order to spare someone's feelings or to keep them from worry or fear. As stated in Chapter 8, page 129, Henrietta was feeling like her cancer was spreading. Instead of the doctors writing truthful reports, they wrote things like, "The patient states that she feels fairly well." Although most people in the 50s didn't question doctors' word, I feel like doctors knew Henrietta wouldn't question their word because, as stated on page 129, doctors knew best, and most patients didn't question it, especially black patients in public wards. Question number 8. Where does Cootie think Henrietta's cancer came from? In the book, Cootie is also Henrietta's cousin. He got his name from when he got polio years before. As stated on page 378, Cootie said it was the disease-causing spirits. Cootie thought Henrietta's cancer came from spirits that cause disease or voodoo. Question number 9. What was Henrietta's final request? What does this request tell you about her? Henrietta's final request was for her husband, Day, to take care of the children. Throughout the book, we as readers learn that all Henrietta really ever wanted out of life was to be a good and present mother to her children. She was selfless and willing to put her life on the line in order to continue being a mother. Question number 2. Skloot uses vivid imagery and details to describe Henrietta's childhood in Clover. Locate a passage that you found particularly effective or memorable and explain why you selected it. The passage that I decided to deem as effective or memorable is one of the passages in the beginning chapters, the first story of Henrietta's childhood. In Chapter 2, Skloot tells us that Henrietta was born to her mother Eliza and father Johnny. Eliza died while giving birth to her 10th child, which left their father to tend with 10 children alone, according to Skloot. He did not have the patience to do so. All of Henrietta's siblings were split up with different family members. I feel that this is foreshadowing foreshadowing of why Henrietta takes being a mother to her children and keeping them together so seriously. Henrietta grew up with no mother and did not live with her siblings. It foreshadows why Henrietta's last request, as discussed before, was what it was, because the last thing she wanted after her death was for the same thing that happened to her as a child to happen to her children at the hands of her husband and their father not wanting to take care of them.